Alright, here we go. 24 hours solitary. It'll be fun. Turning off the lights. Right now. Oh, I guess what makes this less enjoyable so far is that I woke up this morning with cramps. So, let's see how that goes. Should be fun. I have a tissue box somewhere. I should probably figure that out. Huh. I ended up not taping up the wall because I couldn't find tape anywhere, but I've actually not seen any light. So maybe my eyes just have to adjust. So we'll see. I took photos of my meals. I'll be eating breakfast very shortly. And yeah. I think this morning would be going a lot better if I didn't have cramps right now. I'm assuming it's because I didn't eat a lot last night for dinner. Apparently, chips and guacamole and ice cream is not the ideal last meal before solitude. Just something to consider. Alright, let's find these tissues. Nope, not those. Anybody's behind me. Nope. Tissues, where are you? Oh, there it is. Alright. So, I believe that I found out that there is not really a website that allows me to put streaming audio online. So, I think what I'm going to have to do is just split it up into different YouTube videos, and that upload usually takes like hours just to do like 20 minutes. So if I'm uploading 24 hours worth of video, which I believe I have to break up into 3 videos since you can only have a 10-hour limit is my understanding, it'll be days before any of this stuff's up, but whatever. It's the best I can do. So. Well, like anyone's gonna watch it anyway, or listen to it, but whatever. I'll be interested to hear what I have to say. I'm sure the beginning will be boring. It's kind of counterproductive as well because I'm basically trying to convince people that I won't go crazy, and yet by putting audio in here, it's like giving me the authority to go crazy in a sense that it's like you put the camera on and obviously I start acting a little different, but also because it clearly means that I'm going to start talking now just because I know I am recording it. Opposed to if I wasn't doing that, I might just be talking to myself, or not talking out loud is what I mean. So it's an interesting choice. Also, Daisy was outside this morning when I was testing it. She was outside being really hyper. I have a feeling she's going to claw in the store at some point, and by that I mean multiple points, and by that I mean probably like non-stop. So I decided it would be too aggressive to put her in her room for a day, so I'm just going to deal with it. I'll imagine they are prisoners taunting me. I'll try not to break down and cry. Ugh. My apologies if it gets quiet at times. I don't feel like talking for 24 hours. Bear with me. There was something I was going to say, though. I did not finish Jurassic Park last night. I decided it was better to get my sleep. But I'm really close. I really hate Lex. I think she is the most obnoxious character I've ever seen. Worse than Joffrey, yes. Oh, there's Shadow. Look at, he beat Daisy. Shadow is at the door. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get to hear some cat fights. I'll try to ignore them. I'll go quiet for a while. That's right, where's my water? Alright, hopefully I don't knock over all my water right now, but I need water for my stomach. That is a bowl of cereal, therefore here's my water. Perfect. I really wish I didn't have this cat sound problem. It's making it seem less solitary already. What's interesting is that I was able to take out, I mean obviously I didn't sleep with my contacts in, but I was able to take off my glasses without putting my contacts in and not feeling weird about that, which is cool. Because I don't think I rarely ever do that now. I think it was in, I don't know. I think, because I've had glasses since 3rd grade, and I think I didn't start wearing glasses regularly until like 9th grade, I think, when I stopped wearing wireframes and got those weird clear plastic ones. So I think that's when I started wearing glasses full time. And I think I've been wearing them full time since. So it's kind of weird to not wear glasses but not be wearing contacts. But whatever. Oh my gosh, my stomach. Shut up. What a jerk today. What's worse is I don't have any of my medicine. It's all in Los Angeles. Huh. I just realized something. There are like these sounds that I hear occasionally. Like it just went off. I bet, and I have no idea, and I have no idea how to even, well I guess I can really think about how to check it, but I wonder if my parents left on like the air, the heater or whatever, or they've got like automatic. I would imagine if this place gets so cold, they've got some heater that goes on. And that's why I just heard the van, and it sounded like there was something going on, and then it went away. Because I just realized this is a house, of course. I think I'm used to an apartment where you hear sounds and you just assume it's somebody else. Which is unfortunate, because I'd rather it be quiet like this the whole time. Because now I can hear myself think. Huh. Very weird. I wish I had known about that before. Too late. I cannot exit now. But, yeah. I think I've decided, well, I have decided as well that I'm not taking a shower today. I guess that might be considered gross or weird, but I'm going for, I think partially because I'm going for that whole, I don't know, as if I were just locked in a box somewhere idea, that I don't really have anything to do besides my meals. Although I guess I did give myself paper and a pen to write with. But I think it's also because this shower, I don't know it very well, and apparently the last few times I've tried it with light, I've made a mess with water everywhere, and seeing as how I have like pillows and blankets today, I don't really feel like getting all that wet. That would make the 24 hours much less enjoyable. So, we're going to not do that, and be okay with it. Could I have taken a shower beforehand? Probably. Did I? No. So, whatever. I have a toothbrush and a toothpaste, if I feel like it. Let's see, also my meals today. I have water right now for my stomach. Hopefully it helps a little bit. Gets me some hydration. Deal with the cramping. I also have my standard breakfast, which is, I believe, honey bunches of oats with soy milk. And then for lunch, I have a thing of water bottle, with a sandwich, I believe a ham sandwich, a banana, and a Cliff Bar. I've never had a Cliff Bar. And then for dinner, I have another bottle of water, two sandwiches, well, a sandwich and a half, and a thing of cookies. And then throughout the day, and I guess in addition to my meals, I have snacks of almonds and chips and guacamole. I just realized that chips and guacamole is going to be very messy / weird to eat, because you don't actually know where the guacamole is in general. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, I'd sneeze. That's my eating for the day. I think it's more than I usually eat, theoretically. I guess my dinner might be a little smaller, but my lunch is bigger. So, I don't have my daily vitamin. How's that? I think I kind of just realized how long today really is going to be. See, that's actually one thing I just realized. No, I am really annoyed that I can see the light, because I'm starting to be able to see the light through the door. It's very, very minimal. Like, I could take a photo of it and it probably wouldn't even come up. It's so slight. But the problem is that means that I definitely could see that there's a light source. So that means when nighttime is nighttime, I'll be able to know, which I don't like. I'm thinking that I could try. I was going to say, I'm thinking once I'm done, I'll try to turn my back to the door so that I'm not looking at it, but at the same time, I'm sure I'm going to have to go to the bathroom at some point and I'll have to see it, so there's only so much I can do. I just don't like the idea of knowing what time it is, because I wanted that to be part of the experiment of it all. Because otherwise, I could put a clock in the room and I'd know exactly what time it is and just count down the minutes, but whatever. To deal with it. It's also probably going to become brighter now that I think about it later in the day, which is unfortunate. Once daytime gets here. Because it's like just a little bit bright right now when I went in. I hope the audio is good. I will probably be checking that shortly, just to make sure that everything's working correctly, and then I'll ignore it for the rest of the day. I just don't want to have 24 hours in here and find out it's not recording anything. I'd rather miss 20 minutes than all day long. I have an alarm set outside, which is basically going to tell me when it's 7 o'clock and ready to come out. And then I have this phone in here, which is facing down in case I get any calls or texts or anything. Also, the brightness is all the way down, and it's plugged into the wall while recording, so it should be fully juiced and continue to stay that way. And hopefully it charges faster than it burns, and I think about it because of the light. Because I believe the screen I left on, which I probably, now I think about it, probably shouldn't have done. Wait, where the heck did I put my tissues? I think they're behind me. So I need more. They're there. Because of, I shouldn't touch it, so it shouldn't matter. I was just thinking if I accidentally hit a button that turns it off, that would be very unfortunate. But I don't recall if I tested it. I'm pretty sure I tested it without the screen being on, so it should be okay, but this isn't the time to do experiments with that, so we're not going to. I wonder, now that I think about it, I wonder if rather than doing a 10 hour, and a 4 hour on YouTube, I may just segment each one into an hour if I can. I think I might be able to do that. If I can do that, then I'll just segment it into 24 hours, one each hour, and then have 24 of them on YouTube. And then just go to them, no problem. I think what else is interesting is that I don't know who's listening to this. So it's like I wonder, I don't know, some things I feel like I could say whatever I wanted to, because probably no one's going to be listening to it, but at the same time I'm sure somebody's listening to it. So that part of me is like, maybe you should filter a little bit. Part of me wants to now that I'm thinking about that, just say whatever the heck I want and then not post online. We'll see what I end up doing. I'm sure I'm going to post online because I'm crazy and have no boundary issues like that, but at the same time I would like to be able to say whatever I wanted while I'm going crazy for 24 hours. Huh? I don't know. I wonder if when they do 24 hours in Big Brother, when they do 24 hours solitary sometimes for people, I wonder if they actually check up on those people. I bet they do. They just don't show it or something. But I don't know. I'd be curious to know. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe it's just something they say in the contract. They say, yeah, I'm willing to go in for 24 hours. Not a big deal. I really wish my stomach would chill out. Where's my water? There it is. Mostly because I really want to eat my cereal, which is getting soggy, and it's obnoxious that I can't do that. Alright, my water cup is done. Just got real. I am down to 2/3 water remaining. Commence rationing. Oh. How much? I think you're supposed to have, what, 8 cups of water a day? I'd say that cup was about 2 cups. And then I've got the 2 bottles, which probably about an extra 2 cups. So that's 6 cups. And then I've got my soy milk, which is probably a cup. So I know it's not water, but it's the same idea. Theoretically, I'd imagine. I'm sure there's. Well, I don't know if it's watered down or if it's. I don't know. Point is, I've got 6 cups, so that's probably fine. But maybe 7 cups if you can count the soy milk. And you're supposed to have 8 cups. That should be fine. Ugh. I think one thing that's weird about bike riding, because I went bike riding yesterday, is that I don't actually feel like I feel the burn the next day like I do with other sports. I did that, I feel like I did the one day, but I think that was because I'd done it after paintball, and I think that's why. So I think I was feeling it more from paintball. So, but it's weird though, because when I go out bike riding, I clearly feel it. So it's like there are muscles that are inside my leg that aren't exterior. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel like when I do some sports, I'll feel it. Like, if I were to do sit-ups or do pull-ups or something, I would totally be able to, like, feel my arms and feel it, or feel my abs and feel it. But I feel like when I do bike riding, I don't do that. Like, I'm touching my legs right now, to see, and like squeezing and seeing if I can feel the muscles, and I feel like I don't feel that. So either I'm not working out hard enough, which is weird because I feel like when I'm riding my bike, I'm totally feeling the burn, and then I feel like my legs are starting to fall apart and die. Or it's like some big internal muscle that you just don't really feel. Or it's because it's my legs, and that's like one of those huge muscles on the human body since we walk upright. So, I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe someday, when I work out harder and bike harder, I will feel that. The cats appear to have gotten bored and left me alone, for now. That's good. I probably shouldn't talk about stuff like that, because then they'll come back. They'll know I'm talking about them. Oh, I don't recall if I did that when I think about it. No, I did not. That would be the other reason this gets weird, is that I will be going to the bathroom occasionally throughout the day, so it's kind of weird to hear someone going to the bathroom, but whatever. Especially when they have stomach cramps. That's not the fun kind to hear. But hopefully most of that is behind us. Alrighty. I'm flushing. Chill out. Somewhere I've got socks. I'm going to put those on before I have my pens. Some kind of paper. There's one sock. There's two socks. Alright. I'm going to put my socks on before I eat breakfast because then I don't have to bend over as much after I've eaten, hopefully. Theoretically. Once it stops, I'll start talking. Alright, there it is. I was wearing my onesie when I first was about to go in, and then 3 minutes before I went in, I decided, and I had a change of clothes. 3 minutes before I decided it was getting a little warm, and that also the onesie's not very comfortable. So I ended up switching to what I'm wearing now, which is like sweats, basically. Knowing that I might get a little bit cold, but I've got 2 blankets in here, so really I should be fine. I imagine too that once I'm done eating breakfast and it's digested and stuff and my stomach's bothering me, I'm probably going to be laying down most of the day. I mean, I brought 2 pillows, probably should have brought more. I brought one really long pillow, so actually it's like 3 pillows. And 2 blankets. So, who knows. I moved most of the stuff that was on the counter out of the room. No, I moved all the stuff that was on the counter out of the room. And then, except for my toothbrush and toothpaste. And then I moved a lot of like the hair products off the toilet and shower onto like the floor behind the toilet. I should have put it in the... I say I should have. I was originally going to put it in the tub, and I decided not to. But I think that was mostly because I wasn't sure if I was going to use it. I still may. Like, I might find out laying down in the tub is much more comfortable than laying on the floor. Who knows? We'll see. I've never lived in a bathroom. Have you? If you have, you're weird. I kid. That's another thing to point out, though, that I feel like every single person I've talked to about this, and yes, I understand it's a weird concept, so I'm not, like, judging people that think it's weird, but every single person I've told thinks it's weird. I don't know that I've met anyone or said it to anyone who legit finds it fascinating and interesting as well. Whereas, like, if someone were to tell that to me, I would not have that reaction that people have. I would be like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. Then again, I understand that. I'm the weird one. I'm the one that's in here, so that makes sense. But it's just something that I find very fascinating. That I don't know, I find things like this very exciting and interesting. And so while people think I'm going to go crazy, and I agree upon understanding and thinking about it that it will be a long day, and there will be times where I'm bored, sure. But I also just think it's a very fascinating idea, and something that might make me appreciate time a little bit more, or what is on the outside more, things like that. And I really have no fear of it breaking me. Like, I've joked around with people about it, but I have no fear of that at all, because I know that I'm in here for good reasons, and I'm fascinated by it. And I don't know. I'm in a room for 24 hours, not that big a deal. Like, I've gone weekends where I don't do anything and I, like, just sit in front of a TV and just veg out and never leave my house and never have any interaction with anyone besides my cat. So, apparently my cats are still going to be around, so it's as if I'm doing that, just without a TV. Yeah, see, the air just went back on, which is my understanding that's what that is. And I imagine it's the heater. That's probably why it was really hot this morning. Which is annoying. So, oh well. I'll start to not hear it, but the problem is I hear it when it goes on and I hear it when it goes off. But after it's on, then I don't hear it. So I'm going to eat my cereal. It might be messy because I cannot see. I'm going to put a pillow on this toilet because it's very uncomfortable. In case anyone was wondering. And have you ever sat on a toilet lid? But it's not very comfortable. Oh, that's much better. Much better. You should make toilet lids with pillows on top. In case people ever need to sit on them. That is the stuff, guys. I would sit on the floor, because I think that's probably what most people do. But because of my stomach, it usually hurts if I don't sit upright. Almost to a T, I get stomach problems if I sit on the floor and try to eat, like, leaning forward or anything. So I try to always lean, like, sitting up if I can, because I'm imagining it's because I'm, like, bending over on my stomach and it has trouble digesting or something. I don't know, but point is, I know that it upsets my stomach, so. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to check my phone. I'm sure I got text because I texted people before I went in. If I didn't text you, my bad, but I just want to make sure that it is recording. That it is. We're at 29 minutes in. It's recording and the screen was off, which is probably the most important thing. And what's better about that is that because I was in the program, if anyone did text me back or anything, I could not see it. Because it wasn't like it was on the home screen. So that's awesome. Because I don't want to have that distraction. So all I've seen is that it's recording. That is 29 minutes in. Which makes it 1:48 done. Ha! I love fractions. Oh. Yeah, so comfortable. That is probably I would say people talk about, like, that sounds so gross to, like, be in a room for whatever. I think the worst thing about this is going to be my comfort. Like, I have a bad back. I went bike riding yesterday, so my back's probably a little bit sore. That is going to be the worst part. There's nowhere comfortable really to sit in here. I should have freaking, like, brought in a chair or something, but there's no chair I could bring in here that would be that comfortable. Like, yeah. So I brought in pillows, and hopefully putting those on the floor and being able to, like, sit on them or lay on them somehow, or the tub, I don't know, something, is going to feel better than just... Obviously, we'll sit on this toilet, not the best thing, because there's no back support, but there's not going to be back support anywhere, so... I don't know. That is what I'm going to struggle with. That, yes. Because if I was sitting on the couch all day, done. Also, the reason I chose this room, and the reason it basically had to be today, or at least this weekend, was that I've wanted to do it. I wanted to do solitaire for a very long time, but doing it in this room has always been, like, the room I've envisioned doing it in. Because I think it's a rare room in that there aren't, well, maybe there are, I don't know, but it's one of the few rooms I've discovered that has no windows. I think most rooms don't have, or most rooms have some sort of a window, or like a skylight or something. Very few rooms, and you know, I mean they exist like at restaurants and stuff like that, or like, I guess I've been to a few people's houses actually where they have a room like this, but this is the only room that I have access to where I wouldn't have to be a creepy person and say, can I come to your house for 24 hours and sit in your bathroom? So instead I just did that with my parents. So what makes it ideal though, or what made it have to happen this weekend, is that my parents are always here. They don't really go on vacations. My dad's always working or something, so someone's always here. And that's why it had to happen this weekend. So, I guess the other part, and that was the part I kind of went back and forth about, was whether I could have light on or not. Because obviously, because the window thing wasn't so much about the light. I mean, it was, because that is a very cool aspect of it, but it was also the fact of, like, the disconnect from the outside world. I don't want to, like, if something's going on outside, like with the neighbors or anything like that, I don't want to hear that. I feel like this is a separation. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna blow my nose or something. Alright, I'm about to sneeze, but... okay, pass. But there's, like, a separation from nature and society and all that, which is why I wanted a room without the light or the window necessarily. But then the room without the light, that I wasn't sure about. People said that, well, why don't you just have the light on, then you can, like, have a mirror and talk to yourself, and I like that idea, but the problem is I feel like it's actually very similar to the fact that I have an audio. I feel like I'll just be talking to myself all day. Which is kind of something I wanted to avoid, but at the same time, I think this is more okay, because I'm just talking, opposed to actually seeing another person. Because if I were to be seeing myself in the mirror all day, I think that would be almost as if I wasn't really in solitary. Because anyone, if they're in solitary, like say they were thrown into solitary confinement, they can talk to themselves. Like, I guess that's the question though. Would they talk to themselves? Would I be talking right now if I was not recording? And that's what I find very fascinating and interesting. Part of me thinks I would, because I do talk to myself. I'm not crazy, but I don't know. I live alone, and even times when I lived with Christy and stuff, she was gone at school a lot of the times, so, or I'd be driving my car alone a lot of times, so I actually do find myself talking to myself pretty often, out loud. I don't know why I talk out loud, but opposed to just doing it in your head, but I don't know, I do though. So, I have a feeling I would be talking. Thing is, I just wouldn't be talking as much. I definitely wouldn't be explaining things to people. So I guess that's the difference, is that I'm not talking to myself so much right now. I'm talking to an audience. Is there an audience listening? That I do not know. I imagine I've got some crazy / concerned friends that will be listening to some of this. Maybe not all of it. They'll probably be fast forwarding around or something. But I would say probably the first hour is definitely going to be listened to by a few people, because the first hour is easy, and that's probably when I'm going to be talking the most. It's sometime later in the day where I'm going to start being like, I don't want to talk all day. No one wants to talk for 24 hours. Well, maybe somebody does, not me. So yeah. I would be very interested to know, though, how much. I actually wish I could be secretly audio recorded without knowing that I'm being audio recorded. That would be the ideal scenario. That would be awesome. Because then I would know for sure. I could have just not audio recorded, but I feel like it's such a fascinating thing. People probably don't believe me. I'm going to listen to this. I'm not going to listen to it straight, not for 24 hours, that's for sure, but I'm just going to put this on my phone at some point, like all the audio, and I'm going to occasionally listen to it, and eventually get through 24 hours and see what it's like, because it's fascinating. I'm not crazy, once again, I'm just weird. Finding a lot of very subtle things in life, very fascinating. I'm putting a pillow behind my head on my back because this toilet is not comfortable. So much better. And I've got a backrest. So in case anyone's wondering where my parents are, my oldest brother had a baby. Juniper May is her name, and they are visiting her. As the first granddaughter, niece, etc. to be born into this piece of the Polly family. I'm no longer the youngest Polly. What is today, by the way? Oh. Happy birthday, Lauren. Happy 30th birthday. Today is December 29th, 2012. So that would imply that Lauren was born on December 29th, 1982. I wonder how many times Lauren and I talk about my 30 by 30 list a lot, because she has a 30 by 30 list. Hers is more secretive than mine. But, I'm trying to think of how long that I have. I know it's 3 years and something, because I'm almost 27. Once I get 27, it'll be 3 years. I love that my list is actually totally doable, even though it has a whole bunch of crap on it. I say crap because there's 139 movies on it. But the movies are the easiest thing, and they really do keep me going. They are seriously the best thing I ever added to that list. If I did not have movies on that list, I question whether I'd be completing this list or not, because it gives me so much to complete. It really keeps the momentum going. If I had to do things like this all the time, 24 hours, solitary, or go pet a lion, things like that just don't happen every day. Those are much harder to do. But when you're I haven't done anything on my list for a while, I need to get something done, and be I'm going to pop in a movie, and just a movie. I'm in a movie. Who movies? I movie. I'm in a movie. And, seriously, the only thing that sometimes bogs it down and makes me not want to do it is because I have to Photoshop it, and because I have to write about it. But the writing about it part's really easy, and I think people can usually tell when I'm frustrated and don't want to write, because I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to say, I'm bored, this movie is fine, blah. But the photoshopping, even though it is annoying at times, I usually end up enjoying it. Because once I get started and start doing it, I enjoy it. Actually, my least favorite part about the photoshopping is not the photoshopping itself. It's the fact that I have to find out what character I want to do it to. And the problem is that most of the time, almost 90% of the time, oh, sorry, that's way too low of a percent. Like 95% of the time, I want to Photoshop myself on the main character. Like, that is what I want to do, for sure. But the problem is, with most movies, the main character is going to show up in, like, almost all the photos I choose. So, unless I want to Photoshop, like, 10 different pictures or whatever, well, not 10, but even if it's, like, more than one, it becomes a hassle. I think the only one I've done that to is The Amazing Spider-Man and, what was the other one? The Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou, or whatever it's called. Those are the only two I think I've done where there were multiple ones, and I think there were two. And two was pushing it. Because the problem is, it's not that it annoys me because it bogs me down in terms of time, really. Because I think that's the problem, is the fact that I feel like I spend the exact same amount of time doing it, the photoshopping, if I do 2 photos as opposed to 1. The thing is, and what makes it worse, is that I get really sloppy because I'm doing the same amount. Because I feel like I'm not, it's not like I'm like, well, I have a time limit, I need to hurry and finish this. It's that I don't know, I just spend more time, I spend less time, I should say, on each one. So, yeah. I just heard a sound outside of my house, like downstairs, and maybe I just had my first spark of insanity. It was fascinating. I'm gonna note it here in case it becomes a recurring thing. I've realized how much it would scare the freaking nonsense out of me if anyone opened this door. I think I would die. I would have a heart attack and just die. Because that, theoretically, should not be happening. So, we're going to not allow paranoia to set in. I think paranoia is starting to set in, huh? That's very fascinating. That is very fascinating. Maybe this is why people go crazy. Okay. Well, we're not gonna... I mean, we could talk about it, I guess. I think talking about it's probably more likely to make it okay. Or are you supposed to not talk about it? I'm not sure. Also, yes. Seeing as how there is a light on this door, I just want to point out that that is, like, almost exclusively what I've been looking at. But yeah. Back to photoshopping. That, I think... I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Because I'm talking about having those on the list, yeah. I guess to come back to photoshopping later, that's actually something I've enjoyed doing for a very long time in my life, is that I like to go down, sometimes I'll be thinking about something, like I'll think about something and go down like this chain of events, where eventually I'm thinking about something completely different, and I really find the idea fascinating of figuring, eventually, like, it could be like an hour later, and I go, wait, why am I even thinking about this? And then I start going backwards, and sometimes it can take me a very long time to remember, but when you figure it out and you start going backwards in the history and the chain of events that got you to that point, and you can get to that one point that initially brought you there, it's very rewarding and exciting. So, for some reason, the idea that is coming to mind is the movie Fly with Jeff Goldblum, which I've not seen. I should probably add that to my lightning round. But not for no reason other than that reason. I've never seen it, and it's probably a horrible movie, and I'm pretty sure he's in it. I could be completely wrong, but for some reason, I remember that I was thinking about that one day, and that was the hardest thing for me to ever remember, how I started thinking about all these things that happened. And eventually I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about this movie. I've not seen it. So once again, it's weird because I've not seen the movie. But yeah, for some reason I was thinking about that movie, and that movie brought about all these crazy chains of thought. And that one, it seriously took me like hours to finally remember. And it was a very long time ago that I remembered this. So I will make a note somewhere. Oh, I've got pens here. Let me make my first notation on my pen that I would like to watch The Fly. Hopefully starring Jeff Goldblum. If Jeff Goldblum's in it, if he's not in it, I may not want to watch this. Alright, I've got my pen. That's another thing I considered is, what if my pens don't work? The Fly with Jeff Gold. Is it Goldblum? Goldblum? I have no idea. I spelled Goldblum. B-L-U-M. Is that accurate? I am not sure. Okay. Back to sitting down. Okay. But yes, I think having photos or movies on my 30 by 30 list is really, it really does keep it going. I don't know, but what was I talking about? I was talking about how that's one of my least favorite things though. It was not just the Photoshop, it's that when I do find those photos, oh man, the cat's here, it scared me. Alright, so the cat's clawing the door. I assume it's Daisy, because Daisy's the one that likes clawing doors. And she was not meowing, and Shadow would meow. The thing is though, that totally scared me. Okay. Oh, the cat's running. What do you call it? Okay, so I will basically type in the name of the movie when I'm searching for photos, and sometimes if there's a very specific thing, because I do write down notes when I'm watching movies, because I need to remember stuff that I want to talk about. Because I'll remember in general what I want to talk about, but sometimes there's a very specific thing that I want to mention, like a quote or something like that. So I have to write those down, otherwise I will forget them, or I won't be able to quote it directly, and that's what I want to be able to do. But where am I going with this? Oh yeah, so basically I'll look up general photos, and I'll usually find a whole bunch, and I'll just right click them and save them and blah blah blah. But the point is that when I eventually figure out who I want to be, and sometimes I have to do some very specific searching, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to be his main character, because his main character is in seriously every single photo that I'm using, and I'm not going to Photoshop that many times. It's not worth my time, and it'll just feel sloppy. So what I usually end up doing, if that's the case, is thinking of some obscure extra characters that is in a movie, and doing it. Like in Source Code, a movie like that, that's a problem because there aren't that many characters. And what made it worse is that when you Google it, there are even, for some reason, people just don't take photos of those kinds of people, which makes sense, I guess. There were basically two main characters. Well, I guess there's the other side too. But the point is, there were basically two people I was able to find that were not one of the main characters, which was the guy who is the huge terrorist, and then some random cop. And for some reason, I felt weird putting myself on the terrorist, even though I understand people are gonna not think I'm a terrorist, but at the same time, this guy was crazy, and he wanted to blow up stuff, so I didn't want to really put myself on that guy's face. I didn't want to associate myself with him. So, but the point is that when I finally find the photo that I'm going to use, I think what I enjoy least about the process, I actually enjoy it too, but I'd say it's the hardest for me to actually get up and do it. What do you call it? I don't know, the motivation, the drive to stand up and finally do it is that I get the photo that I want to use, I look at it, and I kind of in my mind go, okay, what kind of angles are they using? What's the lighting look like? And I basically have to go find a room with similar lighting, and I basically have to then grab my phone and make a similar facial expression, and just take a whole bunch of photos, and I use all these weird different angles and make sure I'm getting the right angle, because when you're doing off to the side of your face and stuff, or you're not looking at your phone, you don't know the angle exactly. It looks like out of the corner of your eye it could be fine, but usually most of the time it's not. So doing that process, and then finding the right photo, and then sending it to myself, I enjoy it, especially when it turns out right, but getting up and doing it is not enjoyable, because I have to, sometimes, I don't know, it depends on like where I am. Like if I'm in my parents' house, I have to go find a room and like get the lighting right, and it's weird because there's like people around, or like if I do it at my place, it's probably more obnoxious because most of the time like my lights are all off and my blinds are open and I'm like half naked, so I'd have to like be standing in my underwear in front of the window while taking weird photos of myself. So things like I would say that probably, if I were to pinpoint the thing that bogs down the process the most, it's that. But that being said, it is the most rewarding piece of it because it's not like I'm just using a random photo that doesn't fit. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe I would actually be a better Photoshopper if I was using that. But at the same time, I'm not looking to make crappy art. And I feel like when you do Photoshop, you do try to find that perfect photo and to match that other perfect photo, and then you meld them together. I mean, theoretically, you could just get a crappy photo and do it with a good photo, and if you're a really good Photoshopper, you should be able to make it look good. But if you're looking some weird direction, or like doing something completely obscure that does not match the original photo, it's gonna look weird. And I've done those photos, and those are the ones that look the weirdest. And I've seen them online and everything. Like, you usually have to find something that matches pretty well. So actually, I don't regret doing that part. I don't think it makes me a worse Photoshopper. I think it makes me more aware of what works, and I feel like when I do get it right, I would say the one last night was done right. Very much so. It was the one from Punch Drunk Love. The one where I basically put myself on, I want to say his name's like Philip Seymour Hoffman, or maybe it's just Seymour. I don't know. I think that's his name. Okay. When I did that one, I got the angle right. I feel like I got the expression right. I used a different expression, but I got an angry expression right. I did off to the side. My face has a little bit of that redness to it. I feel like him and me have a similar skin tone. It actually showed up very different because I used the lighting was very different, and I had to play with the colors and the lighting and the contrast and all that quite a bit. But I think because the angle was so perfect, it really was. It was like the perfect angle. I could flip on the layer on and off, and besides the fact that, yes, it changed to my face to his face, everything else is perfect. Like the nose lined up, the eyes lined up, the ears lined up, the chin lined up, all that stuff just lined up. Because I did that and had the lighting correct, it worked really well. Like, it was just a matter of getting the colors to match, like me getting my facial skin flesh to match his flesh by playing with sliders, and then basically using kind of like an opacity brush tool that wasn't like fully on but not fully off, so that it would kind of start to blend together on the edges, and then I just start to blend his flesh and my flesh. And there were some parts where the lighting was off on my flesh. In that case, I would erase that part on my skin and let his skin underneath show. And usually that doesn't work because they'll have like an eyeball under that or something like that, and so you can't have that. But because it lined up so perfectly, it really worked out great. So, I mean, it's currently my cover photo because for that reason, not my cover photo, my profile photo, because for that reason alone. It looks like, obviously it looks weird because that's not what I look like, but if you didn't know that wasn't me, I think it would look completely legit. Like, someone could say that is a person. Like, someone just took a photo of a person. And that is what I strive to do with Photoshop. And there have been some where I've failed that part miserably. And I would say the part that I struggle with most is not making myself attach to another person's body. It's that layer around it. When I'm layering myself to the background image, and I think it's not so much a problem with me and what I do with Photoshop. It's a matter of the fact that if I were to look at that photo also without myself being in it, I think it still looks weird, and I think that's the problem. Like, it always looks like something's off. Like, it looks like they're in front of a blue screen because they probably are in front of a blue screen, but the problem is when you're Photoshopping it, you don't want it to look like they're in front of a blue screen. So, or green screen, or whatever color screen is these days. So I think that's something I struggle with. I think I noticed that one quite a bit on like the Spider-Man one, which was partially my fault because I decided that with the Spider-Man one that I was going to completely erase his head and put my head in. Oh, excuse me. Because when I put my face on his face and kept his hair, it looked super weird. Like, I didn't like the way it looked weird. Partially because I have a beard and he didn't have a beard, and I have a red beard and he has dark hair, and I don't feel like taking the time to erase my beard, which I could, but I don't feel like doing that. And when you change dark hair to make it look lighter, it comes out coming. Oh, excuse me. It looks very overworked and not natural. So I eventually decided to completely use the stamp tool and erase his head, which you wouldn't really notice all the imperfections of that because my head would be in its place. But the problem with that is that when you come around the edges of my head on that photo, it comes off very blurry, like I just put my head on it. Same with the Looper photo, same with the Love Actually photo, so those are some of my least favorite. Yeah, the only reason that I think the Spider-Man one is not my least favorite and I actually enjoy it is because I'm in a freaking Spider-Man outfit, and that's freaking awesome. When I eventually watch Superman, that's probably one of my favorites because Superman's awesome, and I'll be excited to be in his outfit. Yeah. I really should eat this cereal, so I'm going to stop talking for a little bit because it's going to get crazy soggy. And warm, apparently. Ew. I guess this is what happens when you hold on to it. I was just about to say that I want to make a note to myself that I want to talk about something, but I realized I have no way to do that. So I have to remember that I want to talk about something that I'm thinking about right now. Well, I guess the thing I want to talk about, rather than waiting, is that I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was thinking yesterday about how, when was it? No, it was when I was watching Once with Sarah. I was having knitting night with Sarah on Wednesday night? No, Thursday night. Today is Saturday? Today's Saturday. Thursday night, I was having knitting night with Sarah. And we were watching Once, and when I initially saw Once, I actually didn't like the movie. It wasn't that I disliked it. I just felt like nothing happened. I didn't grab anything from it. Obviously, some stuff happens, but I did like the music, though. I actually ended up liking it a lot more this time. Partially maybe because I liked the music already. I knew I'd like the music. But I think also because I've come a long way in terms of music. And I probably just have a much greater appreciation for music, but maybe also for life and the fact that, doing something like that and following your passion is very admirable. So, the point is that I like the movie. But I found it very fascinating. I was thinking about the fact that it was some point in the movie where people were sitting in an apartment and they're all just like hanging out. And I was like, just thinking about it. I was like, during the movie, I was just thinking about, it's very fascinating that people do stuff like that. Like, because to me, what they were doing seemed weird, like foreign to me. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, it's weird that people do that. And I was thinking, well, people are doing that. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, like Sarah and I are doing that. So like, I don't know, I just find things like that very fascinating. That like, there are so many people right now just living such a life. There are so many lives out there. Like, what are we at? Like 7 billion people or something crazy? Like, I don't think, like myself included, I don't think a lot of people comprehend how many people 7 billion really is. Like, it's nuts. Like, I think people can comprehend maybe 1 million. Like, there were like, what, 1,000 people in my high school or something like that. I think you do like, that, even 1 million's really big. But like, you think of like, if you think of, what is that, 100, no, it's like, how do you say that? If you were to do that 1,000 times, then you get to a million. Okay. 1 million. That's 1,000 of my high schools. If you were to push them all together, that is 1 million. Okay, understandable. That's more of an understandable number. But then that's 1 million. But then we're talking about 1 billion. 1 billion would be 1,000 thousands of that. That is a lot of freaking people. Like, we've already gone beyond the scope of people of how to understand that. Okay. That's 1 billion. Then you do that 7 times. Like, that is a lot of freaking people. These are all people with their own story to tell, their own lives, their own worries, and all that nonsense. Like, all that stuff that we internalize as being like, we have such a crazy life, no one can understand me. So many people have those exact same thoughts. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's mind-boggling to me. That's actually, I mean, no offense if Chrissy's listening to this, but that's one of the things that her and I did not see eye to eye on forever. Like, we still do not see eye to eye on, because she internalizes a lot of those things. And I mean no offense to you, Christian. This is, if you're listening, this is not my intention here. My intention is to simply talk about how my mindset works, in that I think it's so fascinating and kind of just wrong for all these people out there, because I don't think she's the minority here. I think she's actually part of the majority here. So sorry to my offense to everyone that's listening, actually. But, I think so many people feel like what they're going through, they're the only person that's going through it. Like, as much as I would like to think that I'm one of the few people doing this right now, there may very well be someone that's doing solitary confinement out of choice right now. Like, legit. Like, not even questioning it. Like, I think it's very possible. But I definitely know that someone else has done this voluntarily, like, in the world. Maybe not today, maybe not this second, but someone has done it. I do not even question that, not for a second. I do not have any sort of egocentric mindset to think that I am the first to do probably, like, anything. And obviously someone is the first to do something, but this world has been around way too long, and there's been way too many people to possibly think that I am the first to do the things that I do. It's just how it is. Which brings me to the similar idea that I think it's so crazy, like mind-boggling crazy, that people anywhere, like, unless they just would rather be ignorant or don't understand logic or math or numbers or anything, the fact that anyone could actually look